where I came in at. The more, what I'm trying to get to is, I parked exactly where my grandmother is at. But when I had her on the phone, I wanted to go back to the front so she could lead me. And it led me exactly to where I was parked at. That is crazy to me. Like, whew, I'm getting a little emotional. Hello, make sure you listen to this full story or watch the full video. This isn't just a normal or regular cemetery video. This is how God's divine spirit aligned me with my ancestors, which is my grandmother, whom I call Granny. I pulled into the cemetery, had absolutely no clue out of this huge place of where she was, only to find out that I was parked in exactly the row where she was at and exactly in the area where she was at. So you'll have to listen to the story and you'll hear that part. As I got out of the car, I was met by a spiritual messenger, which was a dragonfly. That is confirmation that I needed. Like, I needed confirmation to get through the passing of my sister that I had been struggling immensely with. I had anger and I had pain and bitterness and all kind of other things, and I had to go talk to my grandmother so she can help me get through this. And I'm telling you, the divine spirit aligned me on the perfect day. And I left there free and able to move on and start a new beginning as of that day. So make sure you listen to this story, because it's not your ordinary grave story. Thanks to you, I cook. I can make you bread. I'm pretty on point with your bread. The kids love it. I need to come and see this gal. I need to talk to her. And I was able to tell her so much, to release so many things, and just thank her, for being who she was, for being there for me and my siblings. She was a savior to us. She took all of us in when we were taken away by we went into the foster care system, and she was the one to get us into the children's receiving home. And then we had to do everything. Everything had to be done legally. And I'm glad it was done that way, because our mother, she couldn't come and just take us back. You know what I mean? I knew where I was at. It was clean. We had plenty of meals. And that lady was strong. She was resilient. She was a warrior. She was a true matriarch of the family. So y'all, that's crazy. My GPS says in 20 minutes I will be in Sulphur Springs, Texas, to go visit my granny at her grave. It's so surreal. Like, this is crazy. Like, ooh, I'm nervous, and it's like I had some stuff written out, but I'm like, am I gonna say that? Like, I'm nervous. From Dallas Airport, it was like an hour and 40 minutes. Yeah, I'm so nervous. Like, I want to talk to her. I do. So with that long drive, I had to stop at Starbucks, restroom stop, and get some water. So I did pick up 2 new cute little Starbucks cups. I like to collect these recyclable ones. After that, I drove over to Walmart, which was not far, to get some flowers to put on her grave. I love how Walmart already has them set up and ready. You just really grab and go. So I paid. I grabbed her favorite ice cream. She loved Bluebell. This is how I remember her, of course. And I headed off to the gravesite, which is in Sulphur Springs. In 1911, the population was at or around 5,000 people. Now it's 16,891. So guys, so I made it to the cemetery. You have no way of knowing where your loved one's at. Other than what you have, your section and your lots and things like that. But there's no signage, right? None. There's none to tell you, like, go this row, that row of where your loved one would be. So I pull in and park by this tree. And I'm like, okay. So I see this guy, and I thought he worked here, but he didn't. So he said, you have to call so-and-so, which is a funeral home. So I called the funeral home, and then, so I gave her the section, everything. And so she said, what's the name? And I told her, like, my granny's name. And so she said, okay, go back. So I came in. I went to where I came in at. What I'm trying to get to is I parked exactly where my grandmother is at. But when I had her on the phone, I wanted to go back to the front so she could lead me. And it led me exactly to where I was parked at. That is crazy to me. Whew, I'm getting a little emotional, for sure. Yeah, so let me get out this car. As y'all can see, when I was in Walmart, my grandmother liked Bluebell ice cream. So I remember when I came to visit her, she had breast cancer, and I came to visit her. And when she was in California, she would be like, I wish they had Bluebell ice cream. We don't have Bluebell. So anyway, when I came to visit her, she had breast cancer. She beat it. She would be sending me to Walmart, or when we would go to Walmart, she would say, make sure you get some Bluebell ice cream, and I would go with my aunt. So I brought my grandmother some Bluebell ice cream. It's hot out here. And then I got her some flowers. So it just hits home because I was parked exactly where she's at. And I have no idea because the lot is huge. Let me show you guys. I mean, it's massive. It's on the left. It's way over there. Like, and then there's an area way over there. Like, it hit. So, let me go find my granny. I'm like, how does that happen? Like, I want to talk to this lady, this matriarch, like I do. Like, I've been wanting to do this, and I tried to do it. And when I came down here, before, it was a bad storm. And I left at like 4 in the morning, and like 4:30, and I stopped at Starbucks, they opened at 5, I remember that. And then I said, okay, let me put in the GPS, and when I put it in, it said severe flooding. Like, if you traveling or something like that, stay home. Like, it was in the red, and it was flashing, and I was like, I still wanted to do it. And then I started, and then it kept flashing. Every area I would hit, it was like, flood warning, flood warning, flood warning. And the weather was really bad. So I listened, and I turned around. So I finally, made it. And today was the same thing. It kept saying flood warning, flood warning, flood warning. But I talked to this guy at the hotel, and he was like, don't worry about that. It's not going to be a flood. He said it was raining last night. And so I made it, and I just have so much to say, like so much to ask. And I know she can't talk to me while I'm here, but she can come to me in my dream and answer some things for sure. Anyway, let me get out this car. Ooh. There's a butterfly. There's a butterfly. Oh my goodness. Is that a butterfly or a dragonfly? Can't tell what it is. It's a dragonfly. Okay, so spiritual messenger, read the part with the arrow. Across various cultures, the dragonfly is seen as a messenger from the spirit world, carrying prayers, guidance, or messages from our ancestors. Okay, and then look what the dragonfly also symbolizes. I was needing to talk to my granny. There's some answers that I needed so I can get past some things and move forward. And this dragonfly, oh my goodness, divine. There she goes. There she goes. That's my girl. That's my girl. Okay, so once I located her grave, remember I was parked exactly where she was at. But anyway, I went back to the car to go get my chair, to get the flowers, to get the ice cream. And then, I sat down, of course, took the price tags off and everything, placed it on the grave. I had a little trouble, and then I tried to put it in the area where my sister had left flowers when she was there years ago. But I ended up getting it in the ground. So put the ice cream down, set up my chair, sit down, and I was able to relieve a lot of crying and talking and just really saying what I wanted and looking for answers and yeah. But anyway, I'm gonna continue to let the video play. I miss this old gal. She was the true matriarch of the family. I brought you some ice cream. How are you? You're missed. You are missed. Wish you were here. I wish I can come to you with so many questions, so many just so many everything. I can cook though. I can cook. Thanks to you. I can cook. I can make you bread. I'm pretty on point with your bread. The kids love it. Thank you. Thank you. It's a hot day out here. Your Bluebell homemade vanilla is right there. So I brought my own little chair. And then there's my granny. She was born in 1919. That's her husband. So she's buried right next to her husband. And that's crazy because I kept on seeing this thing and it scared me. It scared me every time. I'm like, is that something dead sitting on there? Yeah, for sure. And then it's like, that was the grave that I was supposed to be going for. I was parked in the row, but didn't know that that was her grave. And I was circling around. But yeah, this is her. Okay, so I sat down more and I had a good deep down powwow with her. After losing my sister Oni, I was really struggling with her passing. I mean, struggling. And I was able to move on from this day forward. And of course, I had to bring Oni with me. You already know Oni is gone. You already know. But I just wanted to bring her here with me today, so she can hang out too. It was a must. Oni and Oni reunited. So I packed my chair up, went back to the car, came back to make sure I pulled the weeds from the grave. And then you all stay tuned. I'm going to tell you all a story of my granny and just, keep her alive and remember her and all the good stories and the great things that she did. And without her, I wouldn't be who I am at all. She was strong. Well, guys, the visit is over. It's over. I gotta drive back. I don't want to leave. I really don't. I gotta drive back. Gotta make it somewhere in time or something else. Perhaps I can come back tomorrow. My flight doesn't leave until 10 at night. But this was my main priority. I need to come and see this gal. I need to talk to her. And I was able to tell her so much, to release so many things, and just thank her, for being who she was, for being there for me and my siblings, She was a savior to us. She took all of us in. We were taken away by we went into the foster care system, and she was the one to get us. We went to the children's receiving home, and then we had to do everything. Everything had to be done legally. And I'm glad it was done that way, because our mother, she couldn't come and just take us back. You know what I mean? For her to take in. My mom had 5 girls. She took us in. My older sister didn't want to stay. She wanted to stay with my mom, because at that point she was older, so she could make her own choice. But honey, I knew I wasn't going back. I knew where I was at. It was clean. We had plenty of meals. And that lady was strong. She was resilient. She was a warrior. She was a true matriarch of the family. She was. can't remember. But she took sick, you know. She ended up passing away. And I couldn't go because I had just got a job and they would not let me off. I mean, I had just got it and I couldn't quit because I had children to feed, you know. So I had to pick one. Tried to get out here before. It was just, the storm was too bad. It wouldn't allow me. But thank God, praise God, I made it today. And I just told that gal, like, I love you. I appreciate you. I said so much more. We don't need to say all that on camera, but I love you. I appreciate her and just thank you for, you know, she taught me how to make homemade bread, which is light roll. She taught me how to make fried corn. She would always be like, oh, because my name is Opal. She would say, oh, O-A-K. She called me, oh, you gonna make the fried corn? And I would just get so excited, you know. I was a teenager. I'm like, oh, people coming over? Yeah, I'm making some corn. Somebody was always stopping by, always. My grandmother was born and raised in Sulphur Springs. And then I know some of her cousins or something like that had moved to California and they bought some land or whatever over there. And then eventually, I think she, from my understanding, she went down there with them, from my understanding. And then she ended up purchasing her own home. And she had we had a big yard, like a huge backyard, y'all. And I would get out there and cut it. So isolated out here, I gotta look around, make sure anyone's coming. But I would get out there and cut that lawn. And it didn't bother me. It was hot, but it's a different hot in California than it is to Texas. Sulphur Springs today has a nice breeze coming through, so it's nice if you're not standing in the sun. I was standing in the sun. I got out because I didn't want to get sunburned too bad. I would go cut that lawn, and that lady just really got me ready. It was huge. We would take turns, and I just didn't mind. That's when my allergies weren't like mad crazy. And then we had a big front yard as well. We had a huge yard, and at one point she put a garden. There was a shed back there, kumquat trees, I'm thinking apricot trees or something like that. We had big old trees, and it was when, you know, the blacks were buying homes in that area, and everyone was, you know, well-to-do. Everyone got along. It was just, it was great. We had so many parties at my grandma's house. I remember all of them. They would be playing dominoes, cards, just the kids are running around. They had music. We were dancing. There was ample food. It was just Friday nights. We would just get together, fish fry, hay ride, just, and it would, you know, it would start at my grandmother's house. Everybody would meet over there, baby. And we didn't live far, so we used to walk, my mom with her girls. And I ran into a lady probably like last year, July or something. And I said, you know who I am? And she looked, and I told her who I was, and she said, oh my gosh, she said, oh, I remember you. Your mom had the 5 girls, da 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 da. She used to date a cousin. And she said, girl, everybody wants to be in y'all's family. She said, I loved coming around y'all's family. She said, because we was going to have a good time. She said the food was good. She said, and she said everybody was laughing and just enjoying themselves. She said, oh, how I love to be in y'all's family. We were close. We were together. There was always something going on. Now that all the matriarchs, you know, all the older ones are gone, the younger ones, we don't get together, you know. It's something that I desire, you know. Hopefully one day it'll happen. You're the ones that want to get together, and the ones that don't, you can't force it. But something I desire, you know. I just want to have like a big home and, you know, just have family over for Thanksgiving or Christmas. It's when I had a bigger house, 4 bedrooms, fruit trees, you know, big old yard in the back, big old yard in the front. Well, the front was bigger, I must say. I did not mind having people over. I actually liked it, but then I moved to smaller. So I did a couple things, but not much. But anyway, yeah, cutting that lawn. So when I was married, I used to get out there and cut the lawn. Like, it didn't bother me. Sometimes I would just be like, oh gosh, this yard cannot be looking like that. So I would go out there and cut it. So that definitely got me used to it. But anyway, you all, I'm gonna get out of here. I was able to release some things today to let go and just move on. I brung Oni with me. Oni had to come. Oni had to come. My grandmother's name was Oni as well. Oni Faye, and Oni was Oni Faye. So Oni had to come with me, of course. Took a picture with them on there. I'll insert that. But other than that, guys, I got to get out of here. I got to make it somewhere by a certain time. Thank you for watching. If you made it this far, if you have a grandmother that's still living and she can teach you how to cook and just give you all those you know, stories and everything. Make sure you're listening and you're just soaking it all in and just everything. I can't wait till my grandson TJ gets of age, you know, where I could just be like, just telling him stuff and just cooking with him, and or just making good meals so he could just come by and say, oh granny, I know you got some food over there. It's just the things that I desire. But anyway, I'm gonna let you all go. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far, hopefully I don't look too bad. My snotty nose, tears running all down. I tried to prepare before I got on this camera. Other than that, bye guys.